This is an AI voice and avatar interpretation of a text document I, Christopher, wrote word for word after getting scammed online by an outfit that only exists online called Brandlift.icu. That is their website. After being scammed the third time by 3 scam operations that were practically identical, I decided that enough was enough, and I would do everything in my power to shut these scam operations down and bring awareness online so other people approached by their charming secretaries could have some means of researching these companies and learning about their operations before deciding to invest with them. These companies promise payment for subscribing to YouTube pages, then investing in Bitcoin on sham websites, all guided by a deceptively friendly and caring trainer, or mentor, they like to call themselves. If you are watching, hearing, or reading this, the first section will be a brief introduction of what happened in my own personal experience, followed by a deeper play-by-play description for those who wish to learn the nuts and bolts of exactly how these outfits work and continue to scam people out of their hard-earned money. Here is the brief but descriptive introductory description of how I got scammed out of $100 by this shady and illegal operation called Brandlift. Here is my message I am sending to authorities. A representative from Brandlift.icu reached out to me on my instant messenger, offering financially beneficial employment through subscribing to YouTube pages and completing Bitcoin trades. The first day went smoothly, no hassles or hiccups. I made $15 on a $50 Bitcoin investment through their website, Brandlift.icu. The next day, though, I only had $100 more to invest and informed Taishan in support on the Telegram messaging app of this. She encouraged me to continue, saying immediately after I invest, I would be able to withdraw. After I deposited $100 onto their website, she sent me to a so-called mentor named James Scott on Telegram, who asked me first if I was willing to proceed, after posting a clause stating I would need to complete from between 2 to 4 orders, the first order being for $100. I said, no, I am not okay to proceed because I only have enough for the first order and this is all support said I would need. Please refund my money to me and we'll just part ways amicably. To which he responded, are you crazy? They refused to return my money, so I went ahead and allowed him to guide me through the trade anyway, knowing full well my money was gone. After my $100 increased into $130 through a process of buying up $100 in Bitcoin at 30% profit for a 3-minute duration, he eventually said, okay, now I will check the system to see if there is a second order. After some time, that order was given to me by Taishan, and she informed me I must deposit an additional $175 minimum onto the website for the second order in order to be able to withdraw any money at all from the entire trading process. So I requested again for her to refund my money and explained that I did not have enough money to complete the second order. Yet she kept insisting I needed to just complete the second order in order to attain my withdrawal code from the mentor and receive my funds. So I responded to her in not so kind language that I would report their company and leave a horrendous review on the internet. Please do what you are able to remove this website and their operations from the internet so that further people don't get scammed. Godspeed all you online side hustle searchers. It's a vicious dog-eat-dog world out there in the land of not-so-easy money on cyberspace. Taishan, she is the support person for Brandlift.icu on Telegram, the one who puts out the bait by promising a huge daily salary gained through simply clicking subscribe on various YouTube pages and making screenshots of it and posting on their main Telegram messaging site, followed by sending funds to a website called Brandlift.icu, where you will be directed by James Scott, the mentor, the one who offers you a 30% profit on the money you have sent there, eventually requiring you to deposit a monetary amount you cannot afford, resulting in you forfeiting the trade and losing all your funds on the site.
And now here is a detailed play-by-play description of how I got scammed, and hopefully some lessons I and others can draw from the experience. Here is the excerpt in its entirety.
Brandlift.icu is a YouTube subscription payment scam. They pay you to subscribe to individual YouTube pages, anywhere from $3 to $20 per subscribed page, that graduates to a seemingly legit but ultimately unverifiable Bitcoin trading routine that will entice you with small financial rewards to begin with, then burn you on the back end through distortions and half-truths that will leave you broke and wondering if you did something wrong. First, they will attempt to gain your trust by reaching out to you on one of your social media messaging platforms, masquerading as a legitimate work-from-home opportunity where you can easily and reliably make from $300 to $1,000 per day. After a few free tasks that might reward you $15 to $20, you will encounter your first paid task. A free task consists of subscribing to YouTube pages they post links to on their Telegram message board, taking a screenshot of your work and posting it back on their message board along with the task number, and sometimes to your support person as well, along with many other people who seem to be following right along, all happy as clams. On my first day, I completed 4 free tasks and earned $20, although I was told I could not withdraw until my account had reached $100. Then I was asked to do a paid task. The amount started at 50 and ranged upwards into the multiple hundreds. I have discovered after losing money in this, as well as 2 other practically identical YouTube instant payment opportunities, they always start you with a small financial requirement and offer a one-time payment/one-time withdrawal for your first experience to make the whole experience seamless and to build trust. They call it a task. And on your very first investing experience with them, you will encounter one task with one order. So on this first task, their goal is to get you to trust them, so future larger payments can be extracted from you where they will profit. In the first paid task, you will be offered a new user, one-time discounted price of a $50 minimum payment, going upwards as much as you feel comfortable investing. Again, this gives the illusion of choice and makes first-time investors feel confident that they are in good hands. They will then guide you to purchase $50 worth of Bitcoin or Ethereum for payment, or whichever first payment amount on which you eventually decide. Once you've purchased the cryptocurrency, they will guide you to the Brandlift.icu website where you will then log in, hit the recharge button, and copy the Bitcoin or Ethereum address for sending the crypto, then return to your wallet or wherever the crypto was first purchased and send the address. In my case, the day before, the first day I had been approached, Tyshawn had guided me through registering an account with the site. I had not had time to invest with them that first day, so they left me that evening with hopeful dreams of easy riches swirling about my mind. Once you have met with your mentor, mine was James Scott on Telegram, he will have you confirm that the amount you sent is now displaying in your Asset tab on the Brandlift.icu website. Once there, he'll give you instructions to first hit home, second, select BTC USDT, or sometimes for me it was second trading. Third, then you hit buy up or sell, though I've never had them give me the sell option. Fourth, the time for the trade, 30 seconds to 3 minutes. Fifth, enter the dollar amount of the trade. And finally, sixth, type in the percentage profit attached to that time duration. For example, for me, it was a 3-minute trade at 30% with $100 worth of Bitcoin on the USDT network. This was my second investing paid task. The first was a simple $50 investment with $15 profit at 30%, followed immediately by a $65 withdrawal sent to me by the company. After the trade is placed, there is a countdown timer. Once it reaches 0, it will display your profit on the trade. For me, in 3 times doing this, here and with 2 other outfits, it was always a 30% profit, no more, no less. It puzzles me how any mentor could have access to a tool that always delivers a 30% profit. With another mentor at another clone-like replica of this one, I even discovered that while the mentor had me buy up on Bitcoin during the same exact 3-minute countdown timer, I observed the price of actual Bitcoin, and its price actually dropped several $100s. Yet after the trade countdown timer commenced, there was the 30% profit staring me deceptively in the face. When I got back to the mentor later and explained this discrepancy, he had some, to me, unintelligible answer that really made very little sense. It seemed like some kind of smoke and mirrors explanation. Before I reached out to the mentor James Scott that fateful second day, my support person on Telegram, Tyshawn, had given me the options for prepaid task 2. The requirement started from $100 and went up from there, if I recall, to several thousand. She informed me after I told her I only had $100 to invest that I would immediately be able to withdraw my money after completing the one task. However, she intentionally failed to inform me, I believe, that one task the second day meant something much different than one task the first day. The first day, one task meant one investment order, then instant withdrawal. However, once I connected to James Scott my second day, he immediately informed me I would be required to complete between 2 to 4 orders for this second task and justified it as being randomly set by the website. Due to Tyshawn contacting James before I did, with her knowing I had but $100 to invest, there is a very high likelihood that he knew I could only accomplish the first $100 task/order with my $100, even before I met up with him on Telegram that day. Yet, this is how con and scam companies like this get so good at taking people's money. In Brandlift's case, the orders you must complete to finish the task are always variable, somehow randomly selected by the website or software. Yet in my 3 money-losing situations with these outfits, I've discovered the amounts always go up from one task or order to the next. They like to keep the order amounts variable, so an individual can never know exactly how many orders there will be or how much money they will require beforehand. If you ask them how many times you will have to participate in the task, they will tell you 1, yet conveniently neglect to tell you that each task can also be divided into various required orders. When an investor completes the first task, support can gauge from his interactions how much he may or may not be able to pay, and in the end, they can always just force him out of the game entirely by demanding an amount they know you cannot afford, hence forfeiting the trade and leaving the company with your money and you penniless. The game is rigged from the beginning, and I'm quite sure if there ever were a person crazy enough and rich enough who could get through all the orders they required, at the end the company would likely just not return the money and find some reason or excuse as to why the payment could not be returned. James even offered me a 3-pronged question about whether I would like to proceed before I started the trading process, but this question was essentially meaningless because they already had my money. If there were some point to the questions, it might have been proceed with risk with the Bitcoin investment, knowing there may be up to 4 orders to complete before you can withdraw, or decline and we will refund your money. But in my case, I was in over my head whether I wanted to continue or not, and no refund would be offered if I chose not to proceed. When presented with these questions, informing me that there would be between 2 to 4 orders to complete in order to finish the task, I informed the mentor that I could not proceed because Tyshawn had informed me I would only be required to complete 1 task, knowing I only had $100. Since Order 1 required a deposit of $100, which I'd already deposited onto the Brandlift.icu platform, and the mentor had immediately told me I'd be required to complete 2 to 4 orders, the possibility the company gave me for profit was eliminated before the trading even began the second day. I kindly requested my funds be returned and that I could not participate due to only having enough for the $100 order. He responded, "Are you crazy?" I said, "For the love of God, refund my money and we'll just part ways amicably." After he refused to return my money several times, I became furious. I said, "Are you here to help people or hurt them?" He never responded to that question, and I began to hurl insults his way, something I never used to do. But being scammed over and over can do a number on one's psyche, and it really diminishes one's belief in the innate capacity for goodness in every human being. He continued trying to placate my anger, even suggesting I might not have to complete a second order, although he'd already let the cat out of the bag. At this point, I knew my money was gone for good, so I told him, "You already stole my money, so why not have some fun investing play money?" So I went along with the charade investment the second time, as the Brandlift.icu site revealed a $30 profit on my $100 invested. So what? So I told him, "Yay, you stole $130 from me." And he questioned back, "Stole?" Like he had no clue what I was talking about. After a few choice words spoken towards him, he said, "Okay, I will now search the system to see if there is a second order." Of course, he could come back with whatever amount he wanted to if he so chose. I was entirely at his mercy. Ultimately, after I threw a few more insults his way, he said he could not work with me and told me to have Tyshawn get me a different mentor. I returned to Tyshawn, and she acted aloof, like she didn't know what was going on. Ultimately, after I once again demanded my principal plus profit I got from the second trade and began to tear into Tyshawn, she just stated, "I'll get your second order," knowing full well all my money was already gone and I would have no more funds to invest in order to receive my withdrawal. Seconds later, she presented me with 4 options. The first, starting at $175, going up to over $1,000. Again, all at 30% profit. I responded back, "I just told you I'm out of money. Why even show me this?" To which she responded, "If you complete the second order, there will never be more than 2. Even though the mentor stated up front there could be from 2 to 4 orders on this required task. Half-truths intended to swindle investors out of their money may as well be full-on lies because their intent is malicious and conniving. Brandlift.icu, and I suspect any site that promises to pay you money for subscribing to people's personal YouTube page is completely deceptive and manipulative. Their workers team together to con you, and if you want to lose your money and be manipulated by con artists that steal for a living, this is a great site for you. Yet they come across sounding so professional and caring, which is the worst part about it. I guess they've mastered the art of the con. If you found this review from an internet search on Reddit, YouTube, Scam Advisor, congrats! You had more information about the company than I could ever research. When I attempted to look, there were exactly 0 reviews, yet somehow a mildly positive website, trust.score of 71. Go figure. In all my 3 years of looking for a great side hustle or earning opportunity, I've discovered that anytime you are throwing your money onto a suspect and unproven site, be very prepared to lose everything. Always check domain age. If they lie about the age of their site, do not trust them because their ways are evil. Find a good stock, crypto, or options group on WhatsApp. The mentors often will use AI guide trades, and they are helpful and honest, and you are rarely required to send your money to them. They just offer recommendations, and you can trade from your own brokerage. If you happen to encounter one that does ask, be very wary, because if you don't lose a little of your money to them right away, very well may lose a lot somewhere down the road. These YouTube click for commission scams or any online opportunity where you follow some instructors leading to place your money on a relatively unknown and untrusted site and invest in crypto in a way that seems impossible, such as earning a guaranteed 30% each time you invest, are beginning to litter the internet. Especially scam breeding grounds like Facebook Marketplace, where I have encountered many. They are like garbage thrown out of a careless person's car window, leaving the surrounding areas tainted and in disarray. They are a dime a dozen, and the people engaged in these illegal activities are after your hard-earned funds at any cost. Do not trust them. I got scammed on this site and 2 other sites just like this one, all after being initially approached and enticed through messaging by sweet, demure girls with beautiful profile pics. And now, I've said my piece. Take from all this what you will, but I had to get this heaviness off my chest.